Well, thank you very much for all being here. Yesterday, a very major step forward has been taken in the direction of having a uniform tax in the country. The Constitution Amendment Bill was pending for a long time, predominantly because the Rajya Sabha was not able to reach a consensus on it. Inherent maturity of Indian politics that prevailed, and not only were we able to achieve a consensus, I think the most significant aspect was that the bill was passed with unanimity. Of course, the unanimity was achieved because members of one of the political parties walked out. But even with that, there was an overwhelming consensus. And in achieving this unanimity, besides the first point that I made, that the inherent maturity of Indian politics did prevail, I think public opinion in favor of this uniform tax also had a very important role. Most voices were loud and clear in favor of a uniform goods and services tax in the country. In fact, we have very rarely seen a situation where there was a sense of public anxiety, almost an exasperation over the delay. Additionally, I think the role of the state governments was extremely positive. More and more state governments felt that this would help their revenues. Even the manufacturing states were of the opinion that this would help in plugging the leakages. This would expand their taxation base. This would ease the process of doing business in their states. And obviously in Parliament, it is MPs from states who are elected, who act in tandem with the opinion of their political parties and the state governments. And therefore it was an extremely difficult situation to reconcile that state governments belonging to almost all political parties were overwhelmingly in support of the bill, and it was therefore not plausible for members of Parliament to stand up in opposition. The government, of course, had marathon rounds of consultations. Over the last 2 years, we've had consultations at the level of the state governments, the chief ministers, the finance ministers in the empowered committees. At the official level, we had a dialogue as far as the officials were concerned. And politically, we've been having a dialogue with almost every political party. And in the last phases of the dialogue, we were accommodative of various views, but without compromising on the fundamentals of the bill. And I'm sure once the GST is rolled out, doing business in India would be easier. It would help a very large body of traders, business people, also the citizens. अगर हम लंबे अर्जे में देखें तो टैक्स रेट नीचे आएगा, और अगर टैक्स रेट नीचे आता है तो स्वाभाविक है कि बहुत चीजें और वस्तुएं ऐसी होंगी जिसकी दाम कम हो सकते हैं। अब आने वाले दिनों में इसका आगे जो रोड मैप है, हम लोग प्रयास करेंगे कि शीघ्र से शीघ्र उसको पूरा करके जो प्रक्रिया चल रही है इसको लागू किया जाए। लोकसभा की दृष्टि से हम लोगों ने नोटिस दे दिया है, क्योंकि कुछ जो अमेंडमेंट्स एडिशनल की हैं राज्यसभा ने, वो लोकसभा में जानी होंगी। उसके बाद देश की 29 विधानसभाओं में यह जाएगा। आजकल अधिकतर विधानसभाओं का मॉनसून सत्र चल रहा है और इसलिए हर राज्य सरकार भी ये जानती है कि उनको अभी पास करना पड़ेगा, या विशेष सत्र बुलाना चाहे या इसी सत्र के दौरान करें। और जब वो स्थापित होगा तो काउंसिल की स्थापना करने के बाद हमारा तो टारगेट होगा कि अगले सत्र में जो विशेष कानून लाने हैं उन कानूनों को हम संसद के समक्ष ले आएं और इसको पारित करें। वैसे परसों हम लोगों ने जो बेनामी संपत्ति को लेकर कानून था, दोनों सदनों में अप्रूव हो गया है और बहुत शीघ्र ही वो एक एनफोर्सेबल लॉ बन जाएगा। इस देश में ब्लैक मनी को चेक करने में उसकी भी अपनी एक भूमिका होगी। अभी रेवेन्यू सेक्रेटरी इस पे एक छोटी सी प्रेजेंटेशन देंगे, उसके बाद जो भी आपको स्पष्टीकरण चाहिए होंगे वो हम लोग उसके लिए उपलब्ध रहेंगे।
थैंक यू सर। नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट दी रेवेन्यू।
देखिए, इस पे कोई सेटल मॉडल नहीं है। ये इस पे भी निर्भर करेगा कि अल्टीमेटली हमारे स्लैब्स क्या रहते हैं और रेट्स क्या रहते हैं। मैंने कल आंकड़े दिए थे कि बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में जो सीपीआई बास्केट की कमोडिटीज हैं वो जीएसटी एग्जेम्प्ट भी हैं और इसलिए इन सब चीजों का उसके ऊपर प्रभाव पड़ेगा। वेल, आई थिंक इट इज ऑब्वियस दैट when it unifies the country into one market and enables a free flow of goods and services, checks evasion, makes business easier, this certainly will give a boost to the economy. Now, economists have given various estimates, and I'll only call them estimates, which are already in the public domain.
And so
you see, it'll depend on two factors. A, what the standard rate will be, and B, what does the GST Council eventually decide upon the rate of the service tax itself. And one of the reasons why successive governments have been gradually adding to the service tax, because one of the intentions was, besides revenue raising, that it should start converging towards the GST rate. And already, if you've seen in the last few years, the UPA government made it from 10 to 12%, then 12 became 14, with cesses it has become about 15. So it has moved up. And one of the upwards movement is the difference between the rate and the possible rate which will eventually be fixed has relatively narrowed down.
and what happens if it still holds out, sir?
No, I think India has political parties which are extremely responsible. You have a responsible government in Tamil Nadu, and once there is a constitution amendment which is passed and notified, having stated their stand, I'm sure everybody will comply with what the legal structure is. I must say in all fairness that the Tamil Nadu government through its finance minister has been represented in almost every meeting of the Empowered Committee. They have voiced their reservations consistently, but at the same time they played an active and a positive role in the meetings itself. Well, let me make it clear. Where is the rate going to be mentioned? Once we pass a constitution amendment which puts this drafting of the law in the first instance in the domain of the GST Council. Now, without the first draft approved by the Council before me, how can I commit as to what the nature of that draft and what the content of the rate itself would be? And therefore, on a presumptive basis, for me to say as to what will be the nature of that law would not be fair. Secondly, I'll only add this. The constitutional provision in Article 110 and 117 as to what is a money bill and what is a finance bill is absolutely clear. The word used in Article 110 is shall be, that is shall be deemed to be. What shall be deemed to be a money bill? So I can't convert a constitutional requirement into my own option. That's an option I don't have. देखिए, मैंने इसीलिए कहा कि ये जिम्मेवारी सरकार की है कि सरकार राज्यों को जो नुकसान होता है उस राजस्व को पूरा करे, और उसके लिए केंद्र सरकार को खुद की आवश्यकताओं के लिए भी राजस्व चाहिए होगा और मुआवजा देने के लिए भी राजस्व चाहिए होगा। अगर कैप अनरीजनेबल होता है तो उससे तो केवल डेफिसिट बच पड़ेगा, और इसीलिए मैंने कहा कि मौजूदा जिम्मेवारी होना या पूर्व जिम्मेवारी होना इसमें बड़ा अंतर रहता है। तो आप इकट्ठा कम कीजिए और खर्चा ज्यादा कीजिए, ये मौजूदा व्यक्ति नहीं कह सकते।
18%?
Well, obviously I indicated that currently what the taxpayers are paying is phenomenally much higher. And as the calculations which were just now put forward by the Revenue Secretary showed to you, for almost 60-70% of the commodities on a weighted average, you are paying 27% plus a large number of other small taxes. So that will all be added to it. Some of the states have even called it 30-32% or more. Now the guiding principle laid by the Empowered Committee is that this rate has to come down. Now it will gradually slide down, but even in the first instance it will come down. That's the clear intention that they've expressed. This will have to be married with their second intent, that states need enough money for their own developmental activities. Now, developmental activities of states are also in larger public interest. Curtailing them will certainly not help the common man. So a balance between the two will always have to be maintained by the GST Council.
Meeting states over 5 years?
Well, I think it's a matter, as I indicated, of of calculation. And the calculation is a transparent matter. I see no contradiction or hush-hush. The chief economic advisor believes that a more reasonable rate is possible. Some states have a contrarian view. So we are today living with those two views. How we are able to converge it over the next few weeks or months, it remains to be seen.
Yeah, last but one.
And let me just say this. ये 18% जो है वो चीफ इकोनॉमिक एडवाइजर के साथ चिपक गया है. उन्होंने 18% कहा नहीं था. What he had said was that this is a price band between 16.9 to 18.9, which is actually closer to 17 to 19%. He had given a band.
Last two brief questions. What?
Subsuming of the taxes is the very first power, if you see that section in the Constitution Amendment, of the GST Council itself. So the Council itself will decide that, the taxes which are to be subsumed, reasonably quick as possible. Now, which is the date by which we are able to make it will have to be seen. It's always good to set stiff targets and try and meet them rather than have no targets at all.